I don't get caught up in a whole lot of that. I'm beefing with this person in the community, and they're beefing with that person in the community. If you pay attention, I've reached out to people who I've actually even bumped heads with in the community before. And I just look at it as a bigger picture, as we got kids coming behind us. And it's got to be important enough to us, for one, to preserve who we are. You know what I'm saying? On the land. Stop letting people wipe us out. They're slowly trying to wipe us out. But they see us slowly waking up also. So they're going to keep throwing out these little obstacles to try to knock us back down. If you ever notice, every time we get these little pushes of us waking up, here comes a new slave movie. Here comes a new slave narrative. You feel what I'm saying? Here comes them pushing the Native Americans more. You know, now we're seeing movies about the Native Americans and things. So they're always going to keep trying to push these things. So it's important enough. We have to find out what's important enough for us to change our conditions. Not only is it important for us to preserve who we are on this land, somebody's got your identity walking around your house, walking around your home, benefiting off of your benefits. Why don't you care? If you ask me, why do I care enough? Why do I care so much? Why don't you care?
This the type that just hearing that makes it bother me, brother.
It should.
Just even the thought of that pisses me off.
And brother, I'm someone who actually dealt with identity theft before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to the point where I couldn't even go get someone had my identification, and I couldn't even go get another identification card because I didn't have my birth certificate or anything. So my bank accounts, my benefits, someone has access. So this is the same thing we're dealing with on the land. Why don't that matter enough for you? Someone has your identity in your home, in your grandmother's home, on your grandfather's land. These wars your grandfather fought in for this land, these acres of land your people owned. And it doesn't, you have people asking, what do you care about being an American Indian? You don't even understand. You have rights on this land as an indigenous person. Your own people had property here. They own things, businesses, land, and you don't care enough. So, like I said, I thank you again for being a part of season 2. Another thing is I would like for you, before we go, to kind of talk to our youth, because this is who I'm directing these docuseries at, is our youth, our parents, our grandparents. Talk to our families, talk to our youth before you go, and I'm not gonna hold you up after that, brother.
Bet, man. What I gotta say to the youth, man, from the background that I come from, I totally understand you. I understand what you may have grew up seeing in the household, the things you may have been subjected to, the type of adults, the people that we would think are adults, the type of stuff that they subjected you to. But what you gotta understand, overstand, and understand, as you grow, the more you grow, you're going to become more responsible for yourself. So if you seeing things, these conditions that we living in, they ain't right. What you got to do right now, what I wish I would have done when I was younger, man, it would have saved me a lot more trouble. You got to start trying to figure a way out of this instead of feeding into it, because it's real bad now. You know what I'm saying? Like for you youngsters, man, you got to change from thinking this gang culture and this stuff you seeing on TV that's being promoted to you is cool. It's not cool, because it's keeping you further away from what brothers like us talking about. You knowing who you truly are. If you don't live to be 20 years old, not only is you gonna never find out who you truly are, you're gonna never live life to the fullest, and it's just gonna be a sad situation. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look at the situation that you in right now. If you living in the ghetto and you living in harsh times, you got to try to figure a way so where you can get away from this place. You don't want to be here. You know what I'm saying? We born into these type of situations, but that don't mean you got to stay in it. You know, we got parents that's dealing with their kids running into the streets and stuff like that. You know, I don't know what to tell you except but to try to get your children away from these environments, because that's the only way. Because once as children, once we learn behaviors, it's easier for you to never let us learn these behaviors than you to change them.
Facts.
You know, so if you got any type of love for your children and you want to see them survive, you got to try to make preparations to get them to higher grounds. Because these environments and the social norms in these environments, you can't whoop them. You can't beat these social norms. They too big. You know, you fighting a losing battle. Because if you know, when you go into talking about our communities right now, man, it's a certain type of vibration, and everybody on it. Everybody on it, man. We watch it every day. Us being guys that then made it out those cycles of life, we can look at it. You know, I don't look down on it, man, because I came from around the worst of them. And when it came to the point where I had to make a decision, did I want to live or did I want to die? I made a drastic decision, brother, so that I can speak on it from that level and tell a person, goddamn right, you talking about all you gonna have the naysayers on here talking about, he talking like you could just pick up and move. I did it. Yeah. This how bad you gotta want it. I moved away from the ghetto. I moved away from the environment, the block where I was selling dope and heroin and doing all type of madness at. I wanted out of that so bad, came to the point where I wanted out of that so bad. I took all my bags of clothes, jumped in the car and hit the highway and rode to another city, man. I ain't know a soul in the city. I said, if I made it right here, I could make it there.
That's right.
I rode out here where I'm at. It's about an hour away from out of the city of Chicago, another little small city in Illinois. And I came down here, I ain't know a soul. You know what I'm saying? It became my second home. I did it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you got to do. You got to be willing to risk it all. If you like love your children and they young enough to where they ain't been corrupted yet, you got to try to get them out of the environment and show them something different, because if you don't, the streets gonna show them
something
different than you want them to know, and it ain't gonna be nice.
Right.
It's the pressures of the ghetto is so serious. It's no way you could get around it if you think you could let your children be subjected to these type of environments and it's not going to affect them. You out your man.
Yeah, that's right. One thing over here on this channel is it's always hashtag PTC, hashtag protect the children, hashtag PTWC, protect the women and children. Over here, we've always been on that. You have to, laws of attraction is real. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You can only play with that fire so much before you end up getting burnt. You can only roll that dice so many times before you end up crapping out. Laws of attraction are real. Not saying things can't happen to people anywhere. It's just the chances, the chances. So in life, we make decisions every day. And, sometimes rewards come with those decisions. Sometimes consequences come with those decisions. But